Completing her testimony, she's been pretty stoic, but this afternoon she broke down in tears.
She did, Eva, and she had kept her composure for most of her 4 days on the witness stand under really uncomfortable cross-examination and testimony generally, the most intimate, graphic, demeaning things that you could imagine. She spoke about in open court in front of everybody, and she broke down today when she was asked by prosecutor Emily Johnson on redirect examination whether Sean Combs had her during freak-offs, those marathon-fueled sessions with male dudes.
Hurt dragging it out, trying to force a mistrial. The testimony, again, graphic. Ventura's husband, Alex Fine, at one point walking out of court as his wife was peppered with questions about allegedly being. Also today, Dawn Richard spotted entering court, the former member of Diddy's girl group, Danity Kane, who prosecutors also called to the stand.
So remarkably empowering and healing for me. I hope that my testimony has given strength and a voice to other survivors and can help others who have suffered to speak up and also heal from the and fear. For me, the more I heal, the more I can remember. And the more I can remember, the more...
Looks sweet, right? But now that we know the truth, that smile hides something far darker. What Cassie was keeping in that moment wasn't just a secret, it was a scream trapped behind the glam. A full decade of fear, freak-offs, humiliation, and complete control. And that very night, word is Diddy beat her in the Met Gala bathroom. And worse, other celebs saw it and turned away. Now 9 months pregnant, Cassie's finally speaking her truth on the stand in Diddy's criminal trial, and it's so much worse than anyone imagined. She's revealing nightmare parties with strangers, blackmail, and breakdowns so deep she said she wanted to walk into traffic. She compared it all to Tina Turner's abuse under Ike. Eat the cake anime levels of control. And now that the footage is public, Diddy's entire empire is cracking open. His defense? They're asking why she didn't speak sooner. But her answer? Simple. Fear. Paralyzing fear of what Diddy would do if she ever stepped out of line. Cassie didn't name drop Ike Turner for shock value. She did it to make a point. Ike didn't just bruise Tina, he owned her. Her voice, her clothes, her mind. That's exactly what Cassie says happened to her. She was barely out of her teens when it started. Diddy, almost 40, didn't uplift her. He locked her down. She signed with Bad Boy in 2006 for 10 albums. Guess how many she released? Just one. What followed wasn't a career, it was captivity. Cassie testified she was groomed, built up, broken down, and made to feel like silence was her only option. She spoke about being forced into freak-offs with male escorts, being drugged, urinated on, filmed without consent, and assaulted. One escort, Daniel Phillips, confirmed in court that Diddy choked Cassie and filmed him ejaculating in her mouth. He said he saw Diddy grab her by the hair and drag her into a room while she screamed. He heard slaps. Then Cassie told the court herself, "Why were you choking?" "Too much in my mouth." "Who else urinated on you?" "You, Sean." "Did you want him to?" "No." She said it happened often. And it wasn't just degrading, it was ritualized abuse. She had to do freak-offs even while on her period. When asked why she complied, she simply said, "I didn't want him to be angry." That's how controlled she felt. Cassie said she had to beg him to delete blackmail videos from his phone. He refused, bragging his devices were safe. Later, she said he raped her during a so-called closure conversation, right on her living room floor. Imagine saying all this while 9 months pregnant, staring Diddy down, knowing the world was listening. And yet she did it. She cried. Others cried. But the line that hit hardest? "I'd give the money back, just to have my freedom." That $20 million settlement meant nothing compared to reclaiming her life. That's why the Ike Turner reference was so powerful. Tina Turner once said she stayed because she felt obligated and afraid, and that after he beat her, she pitied him. Cassie admitted she blamed herself too. She hid bruises, smiled for cameras, and lived 2 lives, one the public idolized and one she barely recognized. "I felt like an object," she said, so objectified that her trauma made her husband leave the courtroom mid-testimony. She already settled, but still took the stand, because she wanted to be heard. But just as her story started to fade from headlines, an old interview from the 2018 Met Gala resurfaced. And suddenly, the evidence wasn't just in her words. It was right there in plain sight. Looks innocent, right? But now that we know the truth, that moment wasn't harmless. It was hiding a storm. That expression on Cassie's face, now replayed in 4K with crystal clarity, is being seen in a whole new light. The 2018 Met Gala was supposed to be a celebration of style, the most elite fashion night of the year. But behind the scenes, something much darker was unfolding, something no one dared speak about until now. Back then, people saw Cassie's presence as mysterious, even elegant. But today, it reads like a coded message, a silent cry for help. Beneath that couture gown and red carpet smile, Cassie was living a nightmare. According to court documents and insiders, that night at the Met Gala, Diddy allegedly assaulted her in a private bathroom. And the most disturbing part? Other celebrities were nearby. Maybe they heard, maybe they saw, but no one said anything. That's the thing about predators like Diddy. They don't just do harm in private. They do it in rooms full of people, too afraid to step in. And now Cassie is finally speaking out. Under oath just days ago, she detailed a reality most people couldn't fathom. A world where she wasn't allowed to say no, where her schedule, her body, and even her reproductive health were manipulated for one twisted purpose: the freak-offs. She told the jury that the freak-offs weren't casual or consensual, they were forced performances. Her only job was to show up, endure them, and then try to recover. She suffered frequent UTIs, mouth sores, and pain so bad it made even basic functions unbearable. "Were the UTIs painful?" the prosecutor asked. "Yes, very," she replied. "How did it feel during the freak-offs?" "Burning. I wouldn't recommend it." Cassie also revealed that she was filmed during these acts without her consent and then blackmailed with the footage. "One time I was seeing someone else," she testified, and Diddy threatened to release the freak-off videos. "He told me I'd have to face my mother." When asked what the goal was, she said it plain: shame. So when people began replaying that Met Gala clip, it wasn't just out of curiosity, it was a gut punch. The way she held her body, her distant expression, Diddy trailing behind her, smiling on the surface, but watching, always watching. Then there was the part of the night no one saw, off camera. According to sources connected to the investigation and insiders familiar with her testimony, Cassie was allegedly beaten in a Met Gala bathroom that night, and she wasn't alone. Other high-profile guests were reportedly nearby. Maybe they heard something, maybe they walked past her, and still, no one stepped in. Because in 2018, Diddy wasn't a defendant. He was a kingmaker, puffy, brother love, a mogul with the power to launch or kill careers. Cassie, people saw her as just another lucky girlfriend, someone who struck gold. But behind closed doors, she says she was living in fear. That one night at the Met Gala has now become the face of a decade of torment. Behind the flashbulbs and high fashion, Cassie says she was trapped in a designer cage. A woman glamorized in public, brutalized in private. She was expected to smile, pose, perform, and hide the bruises. She told the court she once tried to walk into traffic because she couldn't take the pain. That Diddy would slam her into walls, stomp her face, drag her through hotel lobbies. That once he held her over a balcony, then tossed her across patio furniture like a rag doll. And this isn't just hearsay. The world has seen some of the evidence. A hotel surveillance video from 2016 surfaced, one we all remember. The internet exploded when it dropped. But Diddy's lawyers kept silent, no charges, no comment, until now. Because now in court, the full unedited version of that same video was shown. And according to journalists who were there, the room fell completely silent. The footage we saw online? That was nothing compared to what was played for the jury. The real video showed what led up to the assault and what came after. Cassie tried to flee. She called the front desk barefoot and frantic, begging for help. Diddy chased her down, dragged her back, and destroyed the hotel suite. The prosecution didn't just show the tape. They backed it up with physical evidence. Baby oil bottles, wads of cash. All the things Cassie described as part of the freak-off setup were recovered at the scene when federal agents raided Diddy's room. That wasn't a rumor anymore. That was confirmation. The mask had finally come off. Everything shifted the moment the prosecution asked one question that silenced the courtroom. Did he beat you during the freak-offs? Cassie didn't even need to say it. Her expression said it all. Yes, this isn't just about rumors anymore. It's about hard evidence. Surveillance footage, witness accounts, federal raids, physical injuries, and a survivor brave enough to risk it all just to reclaim peace. But the most disturbing part? It took this long for anyone to believe her. And that leads to the real question. Why did everyone stay silent when they knew? Cassie wasn't tucked away somewhere, hidden. She was on red carpets, in VIP sections, front row at fashion shows, standing beside Diddy at events like the Met Gala, the Grammys, the BET Awards. And the abuse? It was happening the whole time, in plain sight, and none of the powerful, connected people around her did anything to stop it. Cassie's testimony confirmed what had only been whispered for years, that Diddy kept a circle of assistants, security guards, and celebrity friends who either enabled or ignored his behavior. Cassie was treated like an object, pushed, slapped, stomped on, even in front of others. She shared one moment where, after showing up bruised and shaken to a party, a BET executive told her, "Just smile." Because when it's Diddy, you don't disrupt the vibe. You pose for the pictures, you keep the mask on. And when she did try to reach out, it ended in retaliation. After one particularly violent night, Cassie called Kid Cudi for help. And what was Diddy's reaction? According to her, he said he wanted Cudi's friends to watch his car blow up. And then Cudi's car exploded. That's not movie drama. That's what Diddy allegedly did. Used fear, power, and money to keep control. Even Daniel Phillips, the male escort who just testified, said the same thing. When asked why he didn't speak out earlier, his answer was chilling. "I thought this was someone with unlimited power. Even if I told the police, I might lose my life." So here's the question. Do you believe Cassie's the only one? Why do you think Hollywood stayed silent for so long? Do you think more tapes are out there, just waiting to surface? Drop your thoughts below and stick with us. The trial is heating up and the fallout is just beginning. Subscribe, stay locked in, and keep your eyes peeled, because the next update might just be the one that burns Hollywood to the ground.